on behalf of those who are going to work here at GCI, and on behalf of those that they serve, and on behalf of those who are building this home, construction workers, I'll be doing because we're all combined in English. I'll do an English blessing, I'll do a Yakima blessing. I'll keep it short. Okay. I said, Lovely Saints, anoint you with this oil, which has been set aside for the afflicted, those who are growing. On behalf of our people, I anoint you this tobacco. This tobacco comes from a time of memorial for all our people. It's shared in different ways. It's shared with the traditional foods. It's shared for growth. People that come here get good foods from those who serve them. They have a good heart, a good mind, a good spirit. And they work hard so that they can discover their mind. They can discover a new home. They can discover a place that they can continue to go on and grow and heal. I ask that the Creator will remember them for now, so that they finish their walk. That we have the staff will always be protected, physically, mentally, and spiritually beyond them out there. That the goodness that they have will come together, so that they may find a different way of life. So this will be a step for them to go in other places to find another home. One more thing, I ask that the Creator will bless all those who witness today, that would remember how important special the work that was brought here from all the contributors, all the higher up executive committee, with all those sponsors, and all that love that all the staff have done, and all those who come here to bring this together. And those who witness this day will feel it in their heart and mind. Here, I'm grateful that you're all here. With one mind, one body, one spirit, one Creator, and with one hand, I ask you to raise your hand and say Nai. That's what Nai means in Yakima. Nai. If you can turn to your right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Glenn. We're so honored that you're here, that you took the time out to bless this time together, to start us off in a good way, as we begin the ceremony together. So thank you. I want to say thank you to everyone else who's here, and to everyone who's on the live stream. Welcome. The live stream that way?
Yeah, both of them.
Both ways. We're glad that you're here. This is a really important time for us at the Chief Seattle Club. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Colleen Echohawk. I'm an enrolled member of the Pawnee Nation of Oklahoma. I also belong to the Upper Athabascan people. Shout out to Lorna. And I'm excited to be the Executive Director at the Chief Seattle Club for now 7 years. This time together as we think about all building and topping this off is such an important time. And I just want to say thank you to all for being here. We are on the top of our new building. This is the all building. This is our topping off ceremony where we're celebrating this point in construction, where we're actually able to get all the way up here and honor the work that has gone ahead. We are thrilled to know that in October, we will open 80 studio units that will support Native people who've been experiencing homelessness. These are our relatives. These are our loved ones, and we're so excited to invite them home here in this building. This building has been 5 years, I'm looking at Steve Trainer, 5 years in getting here. We started thinking about it and started processing what it might be for the Chief Seattle Club to own our own housing. And I will tell you, it was a tremendous struggle. I'm really grateful for our board. At the time, our board was led by Denise Stiffarm. I just want to mention her because of her incredible leadership. And Steve Trainer, who is here with us, also sort of helped frame what this could look like and what we should do. I have some very, very early memories of sitting in our conference room and trying to think about how we would do this. I also have memories of going to certain city officials and people in this region. We wanted to do this. I have very strong memories of people saying, you guys can't do this. You guys are too small, that you're too, you don't have enough capacity, you don't have enough resources. That is a symptom of colonialism that has continued to try to push Native people down and put us in our place. And as I'm standing here with my dear friends, I want to just say to the world that Native people can build housing, we can own our own housing, and it is part of our responsibility as Native people to take back that sacred responsibility to house our elders, to house our babies. It's part of our healing as a community, and that's what this building is about. We carefully named this building. This is, as a reminder, we are on Coast Salish ground, and long before this was Seattle as we know it, this was a Coast Salish community. I also want to remind people that long before settlers and colonialism happened in this country, we had thriving housing systems. I'm looking at Glenn. I mean, we had beautiful long houses. We had many different ways that we housed our community. And I just know that deep in the heart of every single one of us Native people, we have that knowledge and that understanding. And that's what we're going to bring to this building. And so we named this building carefully. It's called All. All is the Lushootseed word for home. And as I say those words, I want to invite all of you to remember this Coast Salish territory that we're on right now. Suquamish and Muckleshoot and Duwamish and Tulalip and Snoqualmie, and the tribes that we're in their area, their home. And we want to remember that. And that's what this building's about. This will be the first building in the downtown core that has a Lushootseed name. We are very, very proud of that. We want to remind everyone who lives in Seattle that this is a Coast Salish city. This is a Native city. And we're going to remind everyone of that when they come into this building. So I don't want to take too long, but I want to just say that this was a lot of hard work. A lot of people made this happen, including our staff. Our staff, we learned new things. I'm looking at Derek, our deputy director. We learned new things. I was at a conference one time about housing a couple years ago, and people were saying, oh, we just need to give capacity to communities of color. You know what? We had the capacity. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Derek Belgard is a brilliant, brilliant person. We just needed the resources. We needed people to understand that we had it within us to do it. And so as the resources kept coming and coming and coming, and people believed in this project, we built out some incredible knowledge. Derek Belgard is probably one of the very few natives that is certified in low-income housing tax credit certification, which is incredible because it's how we build low-income housing. Our controller, Hannah, she started setting us up so that we could actually take in the dollars and get the dollars out in the way that we should. Our wonderful Annie Clark started thinking about how are we going to do this capital campaign. I just want to thank everyone who donated to our capital campaign. We had people all over the country, and especially people from this region, who said, we believe in this project. We believe that Native people know how to house each other, and we're going to support the Chief Seattle Club in this really historic project. And so huge thanks to those folks who donated, as well as our tribes. And I got a little distracted by the capital campaign, but it was our staff that continued just to pour into this project in really, really incredible ways. And I want to end by just repeating some lyrics to a song that I used to listen to all the time while we were getting this project together. It's from the movie Harriet, and it says, early in the morning, before the sun begins to shine, we're going to start moving towards that separating line. I'm wading through muddy waters. You know, I've got a made up mind, and I don't mind if I lose any blood on the way to salvation. And I'll fight with the strength that I got until I die. And I want to just dedicate that to our staff and to our board, who were resolute, absolutely determined that we were going to do this, even though there was obstacle after obstacle that stood in our way. And I just want to say huge thank you to our staff and our board for being so determined that we were going to get this done. The chorus part of the song says, I'm going to stand up, take my people with me. Together, we are going to a brand new home. Far across the river, can you hear freedom calling? Calling me to answer. I'm going to keep on keeping on. I'm going to keep on keeping on. And that was how we did this building, with love in our hearts for our members. I want to remind you all that there's far too many Native people experiencing homelessness in the city, not just in the city, but around the country. We know that this is a calling to every single one of them to say that you can come home. You can come to all. Your community is going to care for you and love you and believe in you, that you can be anything you want to be. So I want to say thank you to everyone who's on this stage, this rooftop with me today. You guys did such an incredible job. And I can't wait till we open the doors in October of this year, which seems crazy. It seems really crazy to say that, but October of this year. And I want to invite our board of directors, the chair of our board of directors, Annie Kirk, to come and share a few words. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Annie Kirk, and I have the pleasure of serving as the chair of our board of directors here at Chief Seattle Club. Like Colleen said, I can't believe it's been 5 years now since we were approached by Catholic Housing Services about purchasing the building next door. Our initial plans were pretty basic, of figuring out a way to remodel the building as it stood there. It was going to be a phased project, starting small. And the more we thought about it, the more we talked about it, as we gathered, we realized we serve more than 900 Native relatives in the area every year. And we realized we had an opportunity to do something big, to do something better, and to do something on scale with what we needed to serve the community. And with that, the humble project of doing a single phase small remodel emerged and turned into an almost $50 million budget for the all project. Again, like Colleen, I have to thank our staff here at Chief Seattle Club. I have to thank the board. Also, huge thanks to John Paul Jones, who came together with us to figure out how this could be done. And with that, this building now includes 80 units of affordable housing. It includes a satellite site for the Seattle Health Board. It includes a cafe that is being managed by our trauma-informed staff here for our employment program. And it also includes expanded space for Chief Seattle Club, which we so desperately needed. About the time when we broke ground, we also realized that we've had such tremendous growth here at the club that we've already outgrown it for our staff. And with that, we turned to our partners again and we purchased the Monterey Lofts so that we can once again bring our staff all under one roof. It's been an incredible project. And it's very humbling to report that we have raised $47.7 million for this project. Incredible. We only need to raise $2.1 million to reach our fundraising goal, which I have to say, as the board chair, feels really good because this has kept us up at night with the project, and I'm so happy to be standing on top of the building at this time because it's real and it's going to open in October. On behalf of the entire board of directors, I raise my hand in gratitude to each and every one of the supporters, to every one of the staff, to anyone who has provided support, advice, and just kind words, knowing that this is the type of project that our organization can do. I also want to thank our donors. We have a long list of them who have contributed gifts of over $100,000, including the City of Seattle Equitable Development Fund, the City of Seattle Office of Housing, City of Seattle Human Services Department, Ty Kramer and Stephen Romaine, Norcliffe Foundation, Northwest Area Foundation, Raymond James Group and Umpqua Bank, State of Washington Department of Commerce, Steve and Tricia Trainer, Berwick Deagle Family Foundation, Federal Home Loan Bank, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Pat Kennedy and Melissa Reese and the Kennedy Reese Family Foundation, King County, Primera, Social Justice Fund, Rhoda Altum and Corey Carlson, Matt Griffin and Evelyn Rosner, Pearl Jam Vitology Foundation, Rasmussen Foundation, Wyncote Foundation Northwest, Linda Brenneman, City of Seattle Office of Arts and Culture, Ellen Ferguson, Hugh and Jane Ferguson Foundation, the Historic South Downtown, Kongsgaard Goldman Foundation, Lakeside Industries, Martin Smith Inc., Washington Women's Foundation, and the Snoqualmie Tribe. Again, I cannot thank you all enough. The hands are up to you. Thank you. With that, I'm honored to pass on the mic to Sister Julie.
One thing on. Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be invited to this historic, amazing event. Little did I know what was ahead. As I said, this was there were 5 locations in this area. Our Chief Seattle Club started over here, briefly, and was on the corner over here, and went over there, and it came here. So this is 4th and 5th. And every time it's kind of, I said it in my notes here, it's like a young one growing up, because when I took over, it was, I'll tell you about it. I've written a few notes here, and I'm going to probably have to read some of it. But before I begin, I'd like to just acknowledge today, as Colleen beautifully stated, we're on Indian land, but we celebrate this event with Chief Seattle's people. He was, his father was Squamish, his mother was Duwamish. So on whose land we are gathered. I recognize that the permission to use the name Chief Seattle may not have been formally given to the early founders that I'm aware of, but I've learned the importance of the necessary protocol in Native culture, and informally have felt this permission has graciously been given in some of my attempts to see this happen, mainly with the Squamish. But ironically, the building right next door, as we came up out of what was Lazarus Day Center, we were down there for a few hours every day. We'd come out, and right around the corner, there was a sort of a junk shop that was selling all kinds of odds and ends. And so I noticed that there eventually was a sort of a carved wooden Indian that was all of a sudden out. Every day, the owner would put it out when the door was, when the shop was open. And so I inquired about that and asked the owner if, what was this, is this native art? She said, well, there is a native man that's renting the downstairs and he does work down there. come to find out it's by Hilbert's son. And so not long after that, the shop was for rent, and I thought to myself, wouldn't it be great to have the people come and do artwork and be visible to the people going by, and maybe they could sell, display their work. Well, I didn't realize that's about where we're standing right now on the top of this whole thing. So there's been a lot of dreaming and hoping, and that we don't someday have a place of our own. And this began to change when in 1999, Ray Williams came. He'd been working for the Archdiocese in Native ministry, and he came with the news that the Archbishop, Alex Burnett, wanted to have some significant ways to celebrate the quincentenary, 500-year anniversary of the Archdiocese in Seattle in the year 2000. And he told Ray to come and talk to us and let us know that he was willing to help us even get a building of our own. Well, that spurred a lot of conversation in our board to see whether that was a good thing if we had the Archdiocese, the church, owning the building and we were operating it, and we didn't know if that was a good idea. So we decided that it was better that we be on our own, and we had to ask more board members to come and join us, which I asked Steve and Trish if they'd be interested, and Steve said he probably for just a year. Well, he's kept his word, and they've had many, many, many more years. So the club is totally so extremely grateful, more than grateful. Before long, Steve Trainer invited John Paul Jones to meet with the board and talk about this center. And I had done a drawing that I'm going to have Annie pass out, because it was a preliminary drawing that I had in my mind that would be workable. I might have brought it to the meeting, but it's kind of a laugh now when I look at it because it's gone way beyond what I could ever imagine. It has a sacred gathering circle. That's about it. And then the rest is and vision too. So I'm going to reflect a moment on when I first took over the club. Father Talbot was 84 years old, and it was in his third location on Washington Street. And as I say, it was a very small, dingy, really had rats running around, and the kitchen was the size of a closet, as was the clothing room, one tiny bathroom. So I decided that when I went to talk to him, he was sitting in the middle of the room wearing his coat and hat, and he told me a little bit about the club. He said it's open from 7 to 9:30, and there's a few hours they can get a donut and a cup of coffee, and then we'll hope they go get work. And so he says I take them out on long jobs and or moving jobs. So I asked him if I could bring in some art supplies because I'm an artist, and so the next day I brought in some art supplies, and he was happy with that, and he did some drawings, some of the people did. And the next day he asked me if I would like to carry on as director of the club, and added that the executive director, Joe Leclerc, who had retired from Matson Shipping Line, was going to take over from him. He was due to have open heart surgery. And I told him, well, I can't get to ask my community. I'm a sister of St. Joseph of Peace, and I had to check it out with them. And they said that would be fine. So I went back the next day and found, to my shock, that the door was padlocked. And it was closed. So I called him and I asked him why. And he said, well, a woman can't do this kind of work. It's too much. And I said, but I did get my community to agree, but it didn't phase him. So but anyway, somehow it's open. And those early days on Washington Street brought many wonderful people together. And I'm a school teacher, and I found the skills that I had in the classroom of welcoming and empowering the students, and really it worked really well for those who came in each morning, sometimes off a rough night on the street. Very seldom were there any women, though, and if they were, it was very untrusting of the situation. And I knew that I needed more help I needed their help more than they needed mine. So I'd ask them what, would work here and there. And I think being a classroom teacher was really a plus, because I had no real skills in running organizations like this. So then there was amazing non-native volunteers that appeared just when needed. And one in particular was Tricia, when she'd come in and volunteer to her two daughters on holidays to make cupcakes, cookies, and sometimes she'd come in massage chair later on. And Dr. Pat Bennett, a retired anesthesiologist from Group Health, he was another surprise volunteer who brought in homemade soup and drove the van to make food bank runs. So I called this Seattle's Best Kept Secret, and the reason I said this is the name of this little talk I'm giving, I received a beautiful note on a card that a picture of Seattle's downtown area, and in the card Tricia had an arrow. It was Lee Mann's picture of Seattle, and right out where we are located, she had an arrow and said, "This is Seattle's best kept secret." So I thought it appropriate for this topping off ceremony, and this is not going to be a secret though. Chief Seattle is no longer a secret. In closing, I would like to add that Chief Seattle's spirit, for whom the club has been named, is surely alive and in our midst. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Julie. We raise our hands in gratitude for you and all you've done for us for passing it on. Thank you. So bonjour, everyone. I'm Derek Belgard, Deputy Director for Chief Seattle Club. I'm an enrolled member of the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians of Oregon. I'm also OG Creek from Rocky Boy, Montana. So Chimagwitch to everyone here today and who's watching through live stream. So our Native community has historically suffered from the worst disparities. We all know that the data shows we make up 15% of the homelessness rate, yet only making up 1% of the general population. City life here in Seattle has always been this way for us natives. Often neglected, overlooked, left out of the mainstream system and marginalized. One of the leading causes for this suppression is the incessant need that the mainstream system has in trying to always lead the way. We've always known how to look out for our own communities and support our relatives. We've just been denied the resources and opportunities for so long. Colleen just mentioned briefly ago. I want to acknowledge all those that came before us here at Chief Seattle Club, and most importantly, our non-Indigenous relatives who contributed to the success we have today here. But where we've gotten today, nearing the completion of this 80-unit Native-owned and operated building of 80-unit affordable housing, it's because we had Native leadership. Leadership that understands the issues, the trauma, and most importantly, the resiliency in our community. When you eliminate the barriers that lead to disenfranchisement, our communities will begin to thrive. And this is proven here or today at all. 7 years ago, the Chief Seattle Club, we hired Colleen Echohawk as Executive Director, and it was through her fierce advocacy and relentless efforts that forced the Native homelessness issue onto the public agenda. Prior to that, it was often ignored. This steered the All project today. But when we make up 15% of the homelessness rate, 80 units will definitely not be enough. We all know that. This is why Chief Seattle Club, through Colleen's leadership, has kept pushing us beyond just this All project. Roughly at the same time, we'll be wrapping up construction here in early October. We'll be breaking ground on our next project in Lake City, where we will be providing 120 units of permanent supportive housing. Yeah, that's big news.
Yeah.
And beyond that, we've also in the early stages of a joint venture project with Bellwether Housing that will eventually provide over 200 units of housing that targets families and young adults that are aging out of the foster care system. The site for that future project will be on the North Seattle College campus. And with that project also we'll be constructing a longhouse. So another beautiful addition for our community here in Seattle. Everything we do at the Chief Seattle Club is centered on providing culturally appropriate services. We foster healing through rebuilding community, bringing people together through ceremony, love, and kindness, which provides a true sense of belonging for our relatives. Our mission at the Chief Seattle Club is simple. It's just to provide a sacred space to nurture, affirm, and renew the spirit of our people. All building here will give our relatives that space, a place where they can feel welcomed, safe, and appreciated. This building will not only provide 80 units of affordable housing, but as previously mentioned, we're also going to have a native ran clinic on the ground floor provided by the Seattle Indian Health Board. And also our cafe, also on the ground floor, it's going to be Seattle Club owned and operated, that's ran through our wonderful and impressive Native Works program. The building will be lush with native artwork inside and out. Our rich cultural heritage will be seen from far away, this direction, southbound. We're going to have a 40-foot matriarch that'll be embedded into the brickwork that you'll be able to see down by the stadiums. On the corner up over here, we're going to erect a 25-foot welcome pole that's currently being carved by the wonderful, amazing artist, Andrea Saigo. So that welcome pole will be welcoming people that come into Pioneer Square, into a beautiful neighborhood that pays respect and honors the true historic significant area of the city, one of Native heritage. It's so amazing to see that we will finally hit the top floor. We're starting to see the vision and hard work of so many people, groups, and organizations come to fruition. I want to thank everyone who's contributed and supported to get us here. And in closing, I just want to reiterate that this is only the beginning. There's plenty more housing and apartments to build, and we're not going to stop until every one of our relatives has a safe and secure place, roof over their head. So Chimagwich, thank you all for attending. Whoop, sorry. Thank you all, and I'm going to pass it on to Randy. He's going to close us out with a song.
Hey,